It's chilly out here. Ava, welcome. Welcome, Ava. Thanks for being here. Got here bright and early. Let's see if I can do this properly like this. That's so nice. Just in case I need that bad boy. Hey, it is early, man. I got to get working on these. I'm working on this long form video. I got to make sure that I leave myself time to do that. It's quite an investment of time. But welcome, Daniel. Long time friend of the program, Daniel Gandara. If you're into Magic the Gathering, Daniel has a super chill, like ASMR Magic the Gathering type. Oh, that's how I'm categorizing the outlet. I'm gonna work on a long form. I'm working on a long form of my experience making leather over the last 2 months. Uh, that's my goal here. Knowing fully that I'm not really in the long form neighborhood. I'm a live streamer and a kind of a shorts maker generally. I like to think of myself as being able to make long form videos, but my success has been marginal in the past. So I'll bloom where I'm sown, but I'm going to make long forms because those are the way that you preserve your whatever you're doing for posterity. You know, it's not even necessarily for money. It's just like, this is what I've done. Here's my record as a human being, you know, and that's how I appreciate it. Yeah, my arms are getting better, Ava. Thanks for asking. Yeah, they are getting better. I'm gonna actually not round this hide off, but I'm gonna cut the leg hocks, these hocks off because they're not really part of this main hide part, and I think that's probably at this stage fair. And then I'm gonna open up. I got a mail call to do. Got mail call, mail call. This is uh, from Wes. It says Christmas friggin' magic on it. So looks like maybe I'm not in the shorts feed or something. Pretty slow this morning. I think I got this thing supple enough to work it. I just need to cut these legs, the leg sections off here. I don't know if it's better to use my knife or my X-Acto knife here. She's in there somewhere, Daniel, but she's also working at the same time here. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take this off right here. This blade's not very good anymore. I'm gonna use my knife. It's better than that. Number one. And these can be used as scraps and pieces, but I don't need those on this main hide area. So y'all can see what I'm doing. I think the drying process is the hardest part of this. It's very hard to keep these things moist enough to stay supple. You got to keep them like right around you all the time. I'm not taking time to measure this a lot. I just want to round it just a bit. I'm going to round it off a bit. Let's get rid of some of these sections that are hard to roll up. They kind of don't want to cooperate when I'm rolling the hide. They're also a different texture than the rest of the leather. A lot of convention would say that I not cut anything off, but it's just too unwieldy. I think I'm going to take this here and then the equivalent on the other side. It's got fur on it anyways, and we don't really want that there. Yep, DaVinci is what I use on the PC, and then I use Adobe on my phone. I've had a few little hiccups with Adobe on there, but in general, I like it. You know. Yep, this is probably the last piece that needs to come off here, just like right in this area. Like a shoulder. This is like the shoulder quarter. Much better. Much easier to deal with, I think, like this. I'm not wasting any moisturizer or brain emulsion or anything. Looks like I got one spot. I need to get up here. Those are the back legs, so. Yeah, and you know I animate sometimes too, so I actually use another program for that. It's like a dub, not a dub, a dupe of Procreate. That's how I animate if I'm doing animation. I hesitate to do animation in my videos now because if I'm spending hours doing them and I get 50, 100 views or whatever, it's not doesn't make it worth it. Well, it may just be a slow day. I'm gonna have to do this mail call, I think, regardless. I'm gonna do as I was told here and roll this inward. Thursday is supposed to be one of my good days, man. This is the hard thing about when it's not rounded off. You gotta trying to break it in from the diagonal direction. It doesn't roll that well. What are they doing? Hey, dude, no. That dog's trying to take my bone away off my bandsaw. Literally, the dog was going to take my bone. That cable right now. This needs to be run over. Real bad. So stiff. rolls up a little better now, though. Dog leather. Don't tell Heather that. All right, let me do this mail call deal, man. I don't know if y'all were here yesterday, but yesterday we took this antler right here and I did slices of it through the bandsaw and we made buttons out of it. It was pretty cool. I think we did that yesterday, right? And it was fun. Now I think I'm gonna. I don't know. Wes probably won't pop in, but I could use this for a short. So let's do this mail call. Mail call, or should I play with some more hides first? Let's do some more hides. See if we can get an audience in here, decent audience in here, and then we'll do we'll do mail call then after that. All right, make sure my gloves are rolled up. Stay tuned for the mail call. Got a couple of mail calls coming. This one's from Wes Does It. And then I got one coming from Homemade by Ron, Homemade 1970. So I'm putting a little of this cream on my forearms just to be a little more water resistant. So whatever touches them kind of hopefully rolls off easier. But I've also been draining these hides a bit through this double bucket system that I have. So I'm going to scrape these, but I think actually they're almost done for the most part here. Here's this hawk. I can start with, I don't know, I'll start with something else, but there's a hawk. We'll throw that aside for a minute. It's cold out here today. This hide this is leather with the grain. Wow, it feels warm. Interesting. Grain kind of a little pebbly there. Also some damage to the grain in various places. You know, which you got to pay attention to. I think probably the reason for that was my beam had some imperfections on it, and you do not want that. You want that thing really smooth. In fact, I might even smooth it a little bit right now with some fine sandpaper here, just to make sure I don't have anything like sticking into the hide there. Yesterday or the day before, I took a chisel to it and cut some of these sharp spots off. This is like a 300 grit sandpaper here, so like a drywall sandpaper, you know. I'm just giving it a once over here. Then pretty soon I'm going to make another beam. I've got a big piece of cedar I'm going to use for that. Probably use out on the road. I found a joist hanger. I'll probably use that. Who do we got here? Anybody new in the chat? Arturo, welcome, Arturo. All right, so because we want to make sure this is nice and smooth here before I put anything on it, I'm learning this just like y'all, man. So one of the things I was told was make sure you're not trying to be instructional, you know, because I'm not, if I teach it, it's so I remember it, you know, it's not really because I think I'm worthy of teaching it to people. I'm a novice in this stuff. Few minutes we'll do that unboxing of the stuff that something that Wes sent, mystery Christmas present. I can tell you one thing I've developed over these last 2 months. You know, a minor to moderate case of carpal tunnel syndrome. Like I get that electroshock feeling in my right hand whenever I squeeze, like you're grabbing an electrical fence. Towels here so I don't get this stuff on my waist. Ron was talking about how the tannins don't agree with his skin either on his live, and I was like, wow, yeah, we have that in common. I think it's probably not really hard on a lot of people's skin. And you're in and out of it all the time. It's wet. You stay wet. You never get dry. It's pretty tough. But welcome, Arturo. Welcome, all new folks. This is Dad's Workshop. My name is Calvin. Make sure you like this video by double tapping if you're on your phone or device. There's also another way if you're on a computer. I forget. Maybe somebody else can say that. This is a piece of grain on leather deer. This is a deer hide that I have been tanning for about, I don't know, since January 6th, 7th ish. 6, 7. There you go. I said it. Oh, just put a scrape in there. Don't want to do that. Make sure you maintain pressure on there. Talking to myself because I can't give instruction. I'm just giving these scrapes, and then I think these are almost done, to be honest with y'all. Gary Douglas. The hide is actually almost tanned, I think. Were you here yesterday, Gary? I feel like you were in here yesterday. Yeah, this is the hide it was in, and I actually increased my tannin concentration last night. So yeah, I'm tanning the hide, sure. But welcome, Gary. Yep, this one's tanned with red oak bark. A bark tanning bath has a really strong smell right now. Not a bad one, just a very woody, kind of a fermenty kind of a smell to it. Some damage to the grain here, some damage to the grain here and here. Learning process, man. Learning process. What I want to do is make sure that if I take it out of the tannins, it's ready to come out. You want to make sure that you scraped it. And I'm just kind of talking to myself here because, like I said, I'm a novice at this stuff. But I definitely go in depth. When I take a deep dive into something, Calvin doesn't play. Like, he wants to know. Take me deep, man. That's the way I am. Gary's my buddy, almost as cool as you. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate Daniel. Daniel's been here since the beginning inception of this channel. Yep, right now I'm scraping and you can see that orangish, I don't know what you want to call that color. Almost like a pumpkin color there. It's kind of tells me that there's not, that it's tanning through. And I was saying this yesterday, like, I'm pretty sure these are close to tanning. You want to err on the side of caution in general, is my understanding. Gary's got a question. Gary, it still has the hair on it. Only on the very edges, because it's hard to get that off. For me, I haven't figured out how to get that off yet, so it'll get trimmed. There's no hair on the main hide. If that's on there, it just fell on there, or it came off of me. But no, this does not have the hair, other than you see on these very edges here, and that'll get trimmed off. It's just leather. Yeah. Did I miss a question? Did I miss a question? I answered that question. Huh? Oh, I didn't even see that. Okay, I didn't see that. So there's a lot of tricks to that. And remember, I'm not an expert. I have learned some things. Now, if it is the hide, what is the animal? That makes a difference. What kind of hide is it is important. I want to give you the right advice from what I learned, from what I know, experience. It's not paint by numbers too. That's one of the experts has said that, and I'm like, yeah, man. That's why I'm learning that there's some stuff that people say to do and not do, and all of this that like seems kind of different than what I was told. Tell me what kind of hide it is, and I'll go from there. Uh, I don't want to talk my head off about the wrong kind of hide. The natural inclination for someone when they start this is to want to keep the hair on everything and have these luxurious, like warm furs and stuff. But uh, it's not as glamorous as you think. It's very hard and kind of better to start with not leaving the hair on. Is my understanding, what I've been told. So if it's a deer, I'll go from there because no one's answering my question or I haven't seen it. And sometimes my chat is way behind, so I have no idea where people are. Let me check on the on behind the camera. Maybe I can see it there. No, there's no update on that. All right, here's what I think, and hopefully Gary's still here. A raccoon, something small, right? These want to keep the hair a little better. Now I have had a raccoon where the hair slipped, but the best thing you can do is salt it very thick with non-iodized salt. And I don't want to give brand names out here. At least an eighth of an inch of pickling and canning salt, right? Fine. Do not use rock salt. And then what you're going to do with that is you can roll it up, you can fold it in half. There's a bunch of different ways that people say to do that, right? So use pickling and canning salt. Yeah. So, and here's the thing about hair on deer, right? And I want to warn y'all about this because this is something I didn't really know till later. The reason a lot of tanners don't do hair on deer for their own use or for friends and for their own house and stuff like that is because a deer hide, the hair slips regardless. The hair is going to shed, and so if it's high traffic or if you're wearing it and it gets you're wearing a backpack or something, the hair is gonna wanna slip. With this hide here, how I preserve the hair that I have, and this is really really rough and tough, right? Um, was I used I actually tanned it in tannic acids too. But the thing you should do is salt it, and then to make sure that you hold the hair in there, you want to make sure that you put it into a vinegar and salt bath that's between 0 and 2 in pH. So you want a pH of between 0 and 2. A lot of salt. I think it's like 1 pound of salt per gallon of water, and then like a lot of vinegar, just a ton of vinegar in there. Put that in there. Don't leave it for more than a couple days because if you don't check the pH of the water and the pH goes up, your hair will slip. If any bacteria gets into the vinegar bath and propagates in there, your hair will slip. If you take it out and you leave it out in the sun, the hair will slip. If you put it anywhere where it's warm, the hair will slip. And even if you do everything right, it will still shed hair. This is my best hair on hide right here. This was a silver doe, like a big pregnant silver doe. Um, and it's the softest I got it, and I got the hair in there the best I could on this hide. I think I did better on this hide than any of my other ones. I used a little bit of alum. So citric acid, alum, these are tricks. So if you buy a canned, if you buy a canned tanning set that's hair on, a lot of times they're using citric acid. And listen to this, these are the key ingredients: citric acid, alum or aluminum sulfate, which you can get from Walmart in small bottles, but you can get it online. You want to get the food grade stuff. And citric acid, alum, and salt. That's what you want to use. And then brine it. Take it out of the brine within a couple of days, and make sure it's really well scraped. Like when you're looking at it, these aren't beautiful, but because they're kind of been smoked a little. But like at the very least, you want this kind of a color on it. You want it white, right? If it looks like that, then it's probably ready to smoke. Then you got to make a fire, right? And I made a short on punk wood. You want to use ground up hardwood or punk wood, and you don't want any fire. You want smoke plumes. You want to tent it over. I'm making a video on this right now, but you want to make a tent of your hide over a pot that has only embers in the bottom, and then that sawdust, that punk wood over the top. It's going to create plumes of smoke. You want to cold smoke the hide over that. Make sure no flames come up. You have to sit next to it as long as you're smoking it. You can't leave it unattended. If the flame comes up, it'll ruin your hide. If it gets too hot, it'll ruin your hide. So it's a tricky deal, man. He says, what tools should I get him for removed a little bit of fat left on it? All right, so I don't have a fleshing knife. Like, it kind of looks like a little bit like this, except for the handles are straight, and it's made out of stainless steel so that you don't leave black marks on your hide. It's a fleshing knife. This is a type of fleshing knife, but this is usually used for smaller hides. Like, you see me using it on big hides, but it's used usually for smaller hides. That fleshing knife, and then he needs to put the you want to go in the direction of the hair, right? So I'm going to take my hide, like if I have a hair on hide like this, I'm going to take the hair on hide and put it on with the hair going. I don't want to go against the grain. I want the hair going down, right? And I'm going to scrape it that way. This one kind of looks a little rough on the backside, but it's actually been scraped and smoked, and it's in preserve. I slept under this one. It was cold, so I know it works. But you see the black spots in the middle? That's why you don't want to use anything that's not stainless. So it's hard, man. It's not easy. I haven't really successfully done it perfectly yet. Leather is a bit easier than that. It's not easy. It's easier. It's a craft, people learned over thousands of years. So the key is use some alum, use some citric acid, use some salt. But the alum, if you use too much of it, it'll shrink your stuff in like beef jerky. So once you've taken that on, the way the Native Americans did it was stretch it over a rack and smoke it like that. And if you don't, you're going to have to pull at it a lot because it's going to want to wrinkle in, right? Once you've smoked it, you're going to have to keep putting brain. Like, did I include the brain part? Did I include the part that you need to use egg yolks or brain? So after you've scraped it and you've taken it out of the vinegar, you got to wash it. Once you've washed it and it's flushed out, you're gonna want to moisturize that skins, the flesh side, with a brain emulsion or egg yolks and a light oil. So egg yolks, warm water, not hot water, warm water, and olive oil. Mix them with your hands and work that into the flesh side with your hands, and then you smoke it. Yeah, sorry about that. You want to brain it. By brains, I mean you can substitute brains with egg yolks, but make sure it's just the yolk. You don't want to include egg white in there. Crack the egg and go back and forth with the yolk until you got just yolk. Put that in there with your light oil, warm water, mixed out with your fingers. Put it all over the flesh side of that hide. Stretch the hide over a rack. Put it over those coals with the punk wood on it and smoke it. That's how it's done. I hope that that helps. Man, you want to use several. For a big deer hide, I would use like between 5, if you have no brains, I would say somewhere between 5 to 8 yolks. And then oil, either I like coconut oil, but a lot of people use olive oil. Oh man. Does my mic sound crunchy? It's unfortunate, man. I dropped my mic somewhere yesterday. My good mic. Sucks. Probably why I'm not getting good numbers. Shit can be exhausting sometimes, dude. Trying to keep up with it all the time. I hope that was helpful. Let me know if I left something out. You need a moisturizer, like the thing about the egg yolks is that they contain a chemical called lecithin that emulsifies oils That means spreads or beads oils in an aqueous solution. So it's in soy too, but you're not going to get your hands on soy lecithin really, and you don't really want to use that. I've never heard of anyone using that. Use egg yolks and use olive or a coconut oil. And if you want to, you can use like a dubbin or a fatter, thicker oil, depending on what texture you want. Yeah, there you go, Gary. Yeah, coconut oil is a good one because it's kind of solid-ish at room temperature, right? So you get this. I think it's going to create a better texture than olive oil, which also goes rancid. There's an argument that rancidity in oils actually kind of helps the hide. Uh, this is an argument on the deeper dive side, but we won't get into that. In general, you don't want rancidity. Coconut oil has less of a tendency to go rancid than olive oil. All right, good. I probably bumped into it or something, maybe. So yeah, coconut oil and egg yolks, and remember warm water, and then mix it with your fingers. I put patchouli in there and like other essential oils to make it smell good, so it's pleasant. Because egg yolks and brain and stuff can smell kind of bad. So I put patchouli in there, and my hides all smell like awesome. You know, when I use that. So if you have any essential oils laying around that smell good, throwing one of them in there can't hurt a little bit to have that in there. I think that's my opinion. Worried about this hide a bit because there's lots of damage to the grain. So I'm trying to be as gentle as I can when I do this scrape. This may be the final scrape of this. This is probably pretty much done here. And it goes to show that, running a deer hide in bark tannins can take years, right? But if you're working it like vigorously, you can do it in a few weeks, I think. Strong tannins, constantly changing the tannins, basically working an 8-hour day. You're constantly changing tannins, you're scraping it, you're wringing it out, you're doing all that again. Get rid of the old tannins because keeping all that water in there doesn't make sense. Then putting the hide back in, doing the same thing again several times a day. And then you can back off a little after a few days. Uh, it'll start to kind of, you don't need as much attention. But then when it comes out and you're ready to dry it, it needs that attention again. So the hard part, I think, is the drying, getting it to the consistency that you want, getting the hide soft or hard as you want, or structural. Uh, I think that's the hard part. Good. I'm glad we got the audio situation fixed. I'm gonna have to order a new mic, or I gotta find the one in here, and I can't hardly find my nose on my face in this place. It's my ADHD. You get little bits off as they get to this level, but you start to notice there's just a decline in how much material you're scraping from the flesh side. Not a whole. I'm not going to go to the grain side, obviously. Hope your son's hide turns out well. Hopefully, it's preserved. I learned some definite things, in this process, which will be included in the video I'm making. Stay tuned for that. Make sure you're subscribed because this video is the definitive deep my 2-month deep dive. So like coming in knowing nothing about this, you know, uh, what did I do to try to figure it out, and what did I learn in the process is really what the video is about. My whole thing is everybody can make a lot of stuff in their house. We buy a lot of crap, dude. I've got this fake leather wallet sitting down on the floor here. Just the quality level of the stuff they sell us is insane. It's beyond bad. It's not even leather. It's so bad, guys. They just think we will buy anything. And they may be right. They may be right, but I'm trying to move away from that. You know, don't try to sell me crap. I got an Amazon package with my thing to sew leather with, dude. It was a piece of crap. It was missing pieces. It was not well assembled. The butt joint in the bottom of it wasn't even straight. Like, you don't even have a cutoff saw in your factory. It's piss poor, man. The stuff they sell us. And now everybody's competing for speed. So, and when Temu came, dude, it even got worse. I feel like Amazon got worse when they started competing with Temu. It's like, how can we be faster than them? How can we produce more products than them? And then, oh my God, the race to crap began. We will be working on it this week, and I'll let you know next week. Ordering tools today. Yeah, get you a fleshing knife, get you some alum, mix alum and dried citric acid and salt. Make sure you wear gloves because it'll irritate your skin. Um, and then make that vinegar bath have basically the hide have that on there, but also put a little bit of citric acid powder and alum maybe in your pickling bath. I think that may help, and don't leave it in there too long. I left the hide in there too long, and it actually the hair slipped. So it is possible for that to happen. And if you got one, now if the hair slips, it's not the end of the world though. I can tell you what I did to make it into leather, and then you got a useful product out of it. You still got a hide. You still got something you can do with it. This kind of homemade leather is very expensive, man. I see it getting auctioned off online. I saw some yesterday from an auction house, man. Like they're auctioning off pecan tan leather, which is what my first hide was done with. This just, there's going to be more and more of a market for quality products. Just like our clothes, we started accepting clothes that don't fit us, you know? And after years and years of people having to have a tailor make all their clothes, they're like, oh, I'll just buy something. As long as it covers my private parts, I'm all right. But in reality, if you want to look nice in clothing, it has to fit you. Here's this hide again. See, I'll show you all where the problems are. Grain damage there, right? Severe, pretty severe. Grain damage there is also severe. The color's so dark it's hard to see, but you see grain damage where the grain is actually coming off here. There also. It's actually so fragile, I'm considering removing all the grain. I don't know if there's even a patch of this that's usable. So if I scrape all the grain, I can make buckskin out of it. I'm going to consider that because it's almost done now. It smells delicious. It smells awesome, but it doesn't smell delicious. Get your nose off of there, man. That stuff will cut your insides, dude. It's like razor sharp bone pieces. You don't want to bite into those. All right, so that's that one. Let's put that one aside. I've been using my bench to do that recently. Let's, I found some cotton. Here's some cotton. Looks like fermented a little bit. Raw cotton right there. See that? Straight off the plant. Just want to show you that since you said that. I gleaned that out on the fields and stuff. That's how I got that stuff. All right, so let's do the next hide, which is probably buckskin. Yeah. So this one I'm not as worried about because I removed the grain from the grain side. So it's basically what you all would call suede, but that's cow. Suede is made from cow skin, but it's been degrained or what they call frizzed, right? Where I removed that sheer part that you just saw because it had damage. So I'm looking at this hide. This one's probably, because of its porousness, is probably almost done. That's the grain side. It looks much better than my other hide on the grain side. It's got a swirly red pattern to it, some knife marks and stuff in it. I don't care about that. I think that kind of gives it a little personality. But that's what frizzed buckskin that's been partially tan looks like. I'm not going to chase the likes too hard today or the views. I got other work to do. Appreciate everybody being here. And let me scrape down this hide a bit. Like I said, this is a oak tanned piece of buckskin because I removed the grain from this. So this is probably ready now. And I don't want to even do too much here because I think like, what I'm seeing is like this thing is undone, man. This is the grain side. I don't even want to mess with that. I'm going to go to the flesh side. Even the flesh side's looking pretty clean, and even the color is fairly even here. I'm going to make a new batch of tannins today. Maybe I'll put it in one more tannin bath of strong tannins and then start the drying process with this. This is going to get smoked, brained and smoked, just like what I was telling you guys about the hair on hides. Just because I want the texture to be soft and supple. All of these got baited and all these other processes. Like I baited these with pineapple and papaya. I made shorts on all this stuff. If you want to check out my shorts, just my process. And they got baited, they got limed, they got brined. Some of them got brined a second time or baited a second time, just to make sure that I'm going through these ancient processes that people have done that make good leather. You know, you want to listen to the elders and the people that know this process, so that you do things right. You don't want to ignore what they say. But definitely, I'm good at breaking rules too. Once I learn them, I like to break them. And this is a combination here. So this is going to be a combination bark tan and brain tan, basically. What they call a combination tan. Not much left on this flesh side, which is good. You don't want to leave that stuff on. Weave it into a three time button down for me. Yeah, I don't even know how to weave. I don't even know how to sew very well. I'm about to learn that here shortly. It's gonna be for my fat hands. It's gonna be a challenge, I think. Ben is standing next to me, the pit bull. He wants a piece of rawhide because I gave him some yesterday. He's like, if I stay here long enough and bother him, he'll give me some. I got a piece that I kind of put aside for him. I'll give him. And this due diligence is what makes the leather like good. You know, what makes the buckskin good is the heart that's put into, like anything, man. That care in crafting something is important. Like there was more up here than there is. Yeah, man, I'm the type of guy that thinks there ain't nothing to it but to do it, man. You got to start somewhere, right? A lot of gatekeepers and folks. Gary's got a question. I don't think you saw it yet. Nah, the pellet smoker will be too hot. Could it be smoked in a pot of water in a pellet smoker? You know, it's gonna be a way colder smoke than what you want. Man, stick check. I don't have any smoking videos of me smoking these hides. I got a ton on my phone. I'm gonna get into that, Gary, and I don't want you to make a mistake and smoke it too hot. You got to be sure that what you need is a metal pot. You need holes in the bottom of it. I've used a chock full of nuts coffee can, but that's a little bit small. Metal pot, holes in the bottom, and then start a mature fire. A mature fire. Get embers out of there. Don't get ash. Try to get just embers. So a shovel with holes in it is actually ideal because you don't want ash in this. You just want the embers. Then you put those embers into that metal container you have with holes in the bottom. Hide is hanging over that. You sprinkle that punk wood over those embers and the smoke plumes up. That's what you want. I hope that that's the best way I can explain it right there. I think small container or a pot, a metal pot that can hold embers in it, and then holes and a couple holes in the bottom for ventilation. A mature fire where there's like you've got coals in the bottom. Not you just started a fire 5 minutes ago. Like you need a fire that's produced some embers. Put a few of those embers, use a shovel or whatever to move some of those embers into a pot away from that fire, and then hang your hide over that pot and sprinkle in that punk wood in there and let that smoke plume up. And sometimes it doesn't take a whole lot of smoke. And if you brained it real good, just move it around. If it's not in a great spot, you want the smoke to have to travel through that hide. Native Americans would have sewed it to another hide and actually made it into a chimney so that the smoke had to go through the hide, right? Punk wood is rotten wood. If Heather's not busy, she can go out to I've got a piece. Give me 1 minute. I'm going to show you. Yeah, it's rotted wood that's dry. You don't want it, uh, oh, you know what? I've got a video, dude. Gary, check my shorts. I said I have a video called What is Punkwood? I don't need to go leave my live stream. There's a video I have called What is Punkwood? And I actually hold it up. I find it in the woods and hold it up. Check that video. That's what you need. And if that doesn't work, you want some shredded hardwood, like shredded cherry. The texture should be like sawdust almost. You don't want it to start on fire. You want to avoid anything starting on fire in there. I've got a short called What is Punkwood? Check that short out. Thank you. That should help because that punk wood or getting a shredded wood, very dried hardwood, I would say even kiln dried, like kiln dried oak or something that you've like planed with a planer or something. If you're a woodworker, that's what I've used a couple times when I didn't have punk wood and it produced the right kind of smoke. But it's the actual tannins in the wood that are working in that smoke. Also, some other chemicals that are in smoke, like formaldehyde, but it binds those proteins and stuff in your leather, your buckskin, your fur. When you put the brain on there, that like separates. I don't know all the science. I'm not gonna get into that. I don't know that stuff that much. Yeah, you don't want cherry. Actually, that's just what I had around. Oak and pecan. Pecan is good, but the shells are better than the wood. The wood doesn't have many tannins in it. I crack the pecans, the shells, and then that little stuff that separates the nut on the inside. That stuff that's got the most tannins in it. But you can throw crushed up pecans, but it's kind of hard to crush pecans up. You don't want them to start on fire either. You could probably take dried acorns and grind them in your blender and use that as a punk like substitute. Just a thought. I haven't tried it though. It's an experimental thing. The access to punk wood is difficult. You got to have a forest where you can find it. I found it in the forest. That's how I got a hold of it. LOL, the way you say pecans. I was taught that. I was untaught how to say pecans. I was like, what is a pecan? I don't know what that is, man. You talking about pecans? Man, get in this house. Tell me, get this boy some pecans. Now you in a scythe now, boy. That's what they say to me. You gotta say pecan. I have a rotting elm. Probably got Dutch elm disease. If it's standing dead, that's really good because the standing dead wood has the wood is dry, right? The rotted wood is dry. That's what this punk wood in my video is. If you see the video, that's actually pretty dry. Here's another grain on piece of leather that I'm really disappointed. I love the color, but I'm disappointed in the how broken the grain is. I might not even scrape this because I don't want to damage it anymore. Wring it out. It's what I did yesterday. This one actually needs a scraping though. That's unfortunate, man. This is a big one too. Lots of grain, lots of damage to the grain on this. I don't think I'm gonna mess with this until I take the grain off. This spot needs a scrape though. That's why this didn't tan and this didn't tan, because this spot needs a scrape. So if you're tanning and you see these little spots like this, it's usually because on the flesh side there's something in the way. So here we have flesh here that's in the way on this side. And the more you scrape these, the more you got to watch your tannin liquor, because in your tannin liquor, these little bits that you don't get off the hide will fall in there and start to decompose, right? And you don't want the decomp in there, really. But part of scraping it a lot is that there's going to be schmutz in your tannin liquor, your bark liquor. Hopefully that will now absorb. So we got any other spots like that? Right there, I see spot where it needs. These might get grained and turned into basically dark red buckskin. Bark tan buckskin, combination tan. Yeah, there's some spots on here that weren't scraped very good. I would guess there's probably one over on this side too. Wow, that just digs right into the grain, man. I think maybe when I used those oak uh, galls, like it made the skin brittle, because I've heard they do that. I bet you could use oak galls as a great like the oak galls I have are super dry. If you crust them up or put them in your blender, slice them up, I bet you could throw those in your smoke mixture, whatever you're smoking with, your hide with. Throw those on top of those embers. I bet those would do a really good job of smoking your hide very quickly because of the tannin rich. And those tannins are getting vaporized, is my understanding, and in the smoke. Look at all that damage, man. So much damage. All right, so but there is some nice leather pieces to this. So, well, I kind of need to see how this came out to know. It may be that the red oak causes a little bit of you know brittleness in the grain. I didn't have this problem with my first hide. Of course, these are also bigger deer that took hits. Like a couple of these are bucks that were fighting with other bucks. So I won't make an excuse, but seems like it's difficult to get that grain to stay on these ones. I had better luck with my first hide, and I was really rough on it. But it is beautiful though. I mean, just the material is beautiful. You don't have to, and I was saying this yesterday, you don't have to buy tanning kits if you want to take the time to do it yourself. There's materials around to do it. Everyone has some sort of tanning material around, like sumac or something. There's something around you. I don't have sumac here. One of the people said sumac's everywhere in the country, and I'm like, well, I have pecan, I have oak. I don't have any sumac really, as far as I know, except for the poison kind. This is the biggest hide I have. This was a huge buck, like a 12-point buck. Um, and I'm always saying this. There's a black spot on the other side. This is how badly discolored this grain. This has been through a lot. Like I have taken this thing. It's been tanned twice, basically. I had it in tannins for a while and then took it out and started it over again. So it's this is the one that I feel like was almost lost, and I'm kind of scraping at it a little every day, hoping that something different happens. But it's discolored on this side a lot, on the grain side where I scrape the grain. I haven't had that problem with my other hides. Also think this was the probably the cause of my arm woes. You can see it's not bad on this side, it looks good, except for these black spots. That's why you don't want to use anything that's not stainless. Let me bring it up here and see if I can scrape some of that off. Seems to be like I've had these happen before where I was able to get rid of it to a certain extent. Nah, it's not going nowhere. This is the flesh side here. This takes so much material. It's so big. I'm wondering if now that it's basically, it's ugly, but it's tanned, whether it's time to pull this one and start the drying process. And if it doesn't do well, you can always go back, is my understanding, right? This could have been from that knife there or from any other ferrous object that it came in contact with, something on the floor. I don't know, any kind of that stuff. If it hit the floor, hit the bottom of the bucket and there was metal in there, just a number of different things could have caused that. There's some other spots, and I definitely have scraped this hide so many times with the draw knife that it's very possible that that's what caused it. It's very likely, actually. Very likely. Nothing like learning something and then doing it like all day, right? Yeah, I think it's more like it's kind of, it was the lye that I put it in. I had it in a strong lye bath because the previous, it had so much junk on it. It was sitting in these weak tannins for like a month, and I was just like, this thing needs a complete overhaul. It needs a strong lye bath. It needs to be limed, scraped, baited, scraped, brined, scraped, and then retanned. And that's what I went through. Basically, was that process. I might use the non-sharp side here. Yeah, switch. Could be that discoloration is because I'm not spending enough time scraping the flesh side, but I'm not getting a whole lot here, even when I put body weight on it. I need to make sure I use galvanized screws in my beam too, because if a big hide like this goes down, touches those screws and they're not galvanized, that could cause those spots also. I'm almost done with this portion, and then I'm going to do this unboxing mail call deal here. Another black spot. Don't want those wrinkles in there. Yeah, I hope my PPE saves me too. I don't want to touch my face right now. Should have put a towel up against it probably. Yep. So that's that one. And then this side right here, I have scraped the mess out of this part so many times. I don't know why it's just so stubborn here. Really put my body weight into it. So fold over there, you don't want that either. All right, put that aside and we'll do this mail call. These can all go back in my bucket. I've got this 2-bucket system where one of them has holes in it and the bottom one takes the fluid in so they can drip dry while I'm in here. Thanks everybody for being here. My name is Calvin. This is Dad's Workshop. Yeah, this is a nice apron, but I'm gonna make another one for myself here at some point shortly. Let me take these little hawks and scrape these. This won't take but a second. Move this beam back over this way. Now this has like an elbow in it, so you got to watch out you don't rip it. These make nice little things, is my understanding. So I collected these as well. I try not to waste anything. If you're dressing a deer, like why throw stuff away if you're gonna make leather? There's lots of different stuff in there. In fact, in the future, I'll probably start collecting like internal organs, like the stomach, because I hear you can make cool stuff out of that too if you tan it right. Yeah, don't waste nothing. Use the whole animal. That's what everybody else tells me. Use the whole animal, Calvin. $50 likes. Yeah, Gary, my email, dadsworkshopcalvin@yahoo.com. I'm willing to sell, various items. I have to make a living. I have kids, so I'm not worried about selling stuff. If you want to buy something, anybody who's interested in that kind of stuff, contact me at dadsworkshopcalvin@yahoo.com. Think about the time though that I put into it. It's a lot of time in each one of these hides. So it's it's like I'm not holding it down. See how it's like lines, that's because I'm not putting any pressure down. Got to get that schmutz off. I'm tan through schmutz. Tannins do not like traveling through fat and flesh and all of that. They're going to stop right there. That's what they're going to do. Time and love, man. That's what it is. Time and love. All right. Those two hawks are going back in the thing. I don't know if I have another one over here. That's it. All right. So shout out to West Does It. West Does It sent me something in the mail. We're going to wrap up today with this Christmas friggin' magic is what it says on it. By the way, I just want to show you my two rolls. This one's a raccoon hide here that I rounded off, and this one's a squirrel hide that I rounded off. Really proud of those two. They look nice. And then let's open this thing here. West Does It. Oh, we got to move the camera so we can get this for posterity here. So, mail call. West Does It right here. Let's see what's in here. Kind of like I like how I use painter's tape on the top. Scoop the camera. Oh yeah, I did that. What do we got here? Oh, he sent a bunch of wood shavings with it to protect it. Smart. I've done that too. I sent that to like Daniel or either Ruiz, and they didn't like that the wood shavings made them sneeze. I think that was Ruiz though. It's just that somebody complained about it, and I know I sent the same thing to you guys both. Sweet, look at that thing, man. It looks like a weapon of mass disruption. Oh, I like those two pins he put through there. I like this knife a lot. Man, that don't look bad at all. See that thing? Look at that thing. Make a little leather scabbard to do a baseball stitch around it. We got some soap here. We got soap available. We have got soap available. And this is my old hewing hatchet right here. It's rusty because it's been around salt and water, but I got a hatchet coming in the mail too from Ron soon. So I'm going to build a handle for that. But let me show you this because I saw this on his videos and thought it looked good. Look at this. Pretty nice, man. Look how like shiny it is. Now all I got to do is put an edge on it. All right. Got a tip. I think it just needs an edge. See, I got a diamond stone around here somewhere, don't I? Or is that inside? Yep, wood shavings. Probably needs to go on crude. Like, I don't know if I should grind this and edge it first. Should I edge it? I want little bits. Probably starting with a 400 or something like that is the best with this. I'm not going to do this all today, but I definitely am going to get started on this and get an edge on this knife here. What do we got here? What do we got? What do we got? What do you say? What do you do? What do you say? What do you do? I like to eyeball this a lot of the time. Where's my little rubber stopper? There it is. But I'm going to use the guide to do the crude stuff. Oh, just water. What the heck, Daniel? What do we got? Tank Franklin, Johnny, Logan, Homemade. Ron's got a membership. Rhinestone, Mama's Baby. Is meant SoCal Bengals fan, and all of those people got memberships. Woohoo! I'm psyched, Daniel. Thank you, man. Thank you, thank you. I'm gonna do a drum roll in a second for that. That's a big drum roll. I think that's a start there. That does seem to be working. Now, let me acknowledge those memberships. Hey, Logan the Beast, man, welcome, welcome to the chat. Yeah, Daniel's the man. He just donated a whole bunch of memberships. Appreciate you, Daniel. Daniel, longtime friend of the program. Longtime friend of the program. Big time donation right there. I don't know why they don't give Heather memberships. She doesn't dodge them. They just never give them to her. A knife throw? I need something to throw it in. If I throw this, I'll break it. I need a throwing knife for that, Daniel. I do know how to throw a knife. What? Oh, he probably did. West dropped it into a block, right? Did he do that with this knife? I might have to veto the knife throw because I'll break it. But I will do a drum roll because you know how I roll. You know how I roll. I will get the drum and do a drum roll, and then I will try to devise a way I can do a knife throw in the future. I do like to throw a knife. Don't get me wrong. And I practiced it as a kid too, as a young person. So thank you, Wes. Daniel, thank you for that membership uptick right there. I'm gonna go get a drum and do a Daniel. By the way, as I told you earlier, Daniel has a channel. If you play Magic the Gathering and you like to relax and play that game, that's the kind of channel for you because it's definitely chill. The vibe is chill. It's all about that vibe. Daniel's a multi-talented guy and does multiple things. It's not just he's not limited to what he does on his channel. I don't like to be limited to what I do on my channel either. I've got such a messy bench, dude. It's ridiculous. All right, we got one. I found one dowel. I got two dowels. Ten memberships donated by Daniel. Thank you so much, Daniel. One more. Let's try to get this Forzana. Daniel Gandara with the memberships. Do an axe throw. Y'all see that? I just threw an axe. Thank you, Daniel, for those memberships. Big time today. Big time coming through. Whenever I think I shouldn't do a live, I always get corrected. I always learn. Oh, the other thing, if you guys got down there, what? He sent 10 more. He sent 10 more? I'm feeling so gifted today. This right here is a piece of mimosa. He's trying to give one to his friend. I know, I see. And I don't blame him for that. I wish he could get it. This is also for Gary, right? This is a piece of mimosa. If you guys got mimosa down there, have him strip the bark off and use that as fodder for his smoking. Let me get that drum back. I got 10 more memberships coming in. Coming in hot. Let me get that drum. 10 more memberships. Man, I feel so privileged to be a friend of Daniel. Whoops, that was a bad one. Thank you, Daniel, for those memberships. Crushing it, man. I don't even care if there's not anybody watching. But there is. We'll send you some soap, Daniel. Also, you know, no charge, obviously. Put that axe up there that I just threw, that you just saw me throw. This is 3. So Gary, if you got mimosa down there, that's another thing you could use for that. That's 3. I got to do 10. Not easy to drum roll with short dowels like this. 4. 5. Go around the room. Can't do that's hard. Do it up top. Up on the top. Man, my drum roll technique is getting bad. My chops. No, you can't, Ava. They don't let you gift specific users with memberships. It sucks. We will treat Gary as if Gary is a member, right? Hey, by the way, here's a way we can do it to start with. Heather, make Gary a mod of the channel so that if it's a members only chat, he can get in. That's one way to do it. That's 6. I have to get the keyboard out and play piano pieces. That's 7. 8. Oh, that's terrible. Should be it. Should be better. We'll call that 1. And then one more. Thank you, Daniel. Oh, look, my bottom drum head is ripped. That might be why it sounds. That's why it sounds like trash. Not that I can't play. That's what it is. It's that. It's that part. Sorry, all drummers of the world, how I insulted your craft so badly with that. But if I had drumsticks, I would be better. Look, they're not even the same length. So give me a break, you know. Give me a break with that. Appreciate everybody. Wow, big deal, man. So if we can make Gary a mod, Gary can be involved in this because I know Daniel wanted to give him one. Gary can be involved. Gary can be involved in members only chats, which we do. Did we get that? Ava Rose, shout out, also a member. Did really well today. I think she's doing it now. There we go. Yeah, I like to see that blue name. Much better. Much better. Now, what did I do with that that piece of leather I had earlier? So thank you to Daniel. Thank you to Wes for the knife. I'm gonna spend some time sharpening this on an actual block. It's like stainless, man. Like the steel looks really nice on it. I'm really happy. That's I saw this. I told him I would when he was making this that I liked it. The one with the cherry looking scabbard on it. Yeah, I like that a lot. It's like he uses this almost looks like his chestnut that he has too. Thank you so much for those memberships. Daniel is a long time friend of the program. Early, been here for a long time. In case you all didn't know, we did buttons yesterday. Stick around for more crafts that involve using animal and wood and all these different things. I made if you weren't here yesterday, I made these buttons out of antlers. You know, and I was kind of experimenting. I even used this tip as one. They can be kind of sharp, so definitely consider And I've got enough antler that I could still make an antler handle for something if I learned to do it. Also, taking leather, there's a way to take leather and put it around this handle and make a baseball stitch and do things with that. These are some. This one I kind of messed up because it was too big, but these are strong. Like the inside that you think is gonna be brittle or whatever, it's strong. I'm pretty convinced those will work. Yeah, yeah, OG status for real. Yeah, I think both Daniel and I probably saw this knife being made a while back, and I know Wes was trying to get it to me for a minute. Oh yeah, I love this. We love the soaps. We got a bunch of soaps here. We'll send Daniel some. Maybe Daniel will send him enough. He can pass you along a couple bars. Um, we got bars for days, man. You know what I mean? We got some antlers. I'll give you a soap sampler. You know what I mean? We got bars for days. We got dogs locked in a cage. We got stars flying in space. You know, I don't know. That's how we roll, and literally, that's how we roll. I'm so thankful, Daniel. Thankful for you, man. I want to. Oh, I got antlers, Gary. But I'll obviously take more deer antlers, but like I'm antlered out at the moment. This came from that big. You saw that big pelt that I was working earlier. This was the rack from that. You can see he had a skull fracture here at the antler burr. Sad. Beautiful antler here. Yeah. I would take your antlers, but I don't think that's fair of me. You know, I gotta like I can't be greedy. But thank you, Gary. I appreciate that gesture so much. I love how generous you guys are. That generosity, man, that's one of the spices of life, to be generous. When I was young, a family friend of ours, shout out Matt Newman, wherever you are in the world. My friend of the family, Steve, who I call my uncle, a hunter, but would never kill a deer or something on his own property, right? Because he's just that kind of guy. He's just a loving guy. His son Matt was always kind, always did what we wanted to do. He would let me shoot BB guns and play the most fun video games all the time. He was always down for whatever I wanted to do and was always generous. Would send me home with stuff all the time. And I feel like that was the nicest guy I ever met in my life. Like he was just absolutely a joy to be around. So if you're out there somewhere in the world, um, a Minecraft 22.95 random question, but what kind of cuisines or dishes um, you mean out of deer? Oh, you got sheds down there. You guys got sheds? Are you in Texas? Because our sheds don't stick around. Like they get eaten. Animals eat them. Calvin does like pasta. Yeah, Calvin likes pizza too. It's okay. I like all different kinds of dishes. My dad makes a really good like clam chowder that he made over a New Year's. That's one of my favorite foods. I'm pretty sure, and I'm not that much of a seafood guy, but I do go crab fishing. I love crab cakes. I fry crab cakes, and uh, I like things with roasted garlic in them. Like I like roasted red peppers. I like flavor. You know, flavor is important to me. I'm surprised you guys got sheds down there. You know, one thing you got down there, Gary, that's really cool is you guys got axis deer that are invasive. They were introduced to Texas. They got spots on them for their whole lives, a little smaller than white-tailed deer. And I believe down in Texas, you guys have open season on them all the time. So if I was down in Texas, I would definitely go axis deer hunting. It's better for the environment because you got to get rid of them so the native white-tailed deer can reclaim their reclaim their territory. Yeah, big on. I went crab fishing this summer and made everybody in my family. I mean, my extended family. So I had to crab fish all day. I'm pretty good at it though. I use the dip pots. So I'll put one out. I use real stinking chicken necks. Put the dip pots down. Go grab a pot. Go grab another pot. And by the end of the day, I usually got enough to feed. And I fed like 11 or 12 people. Um, Crab cakes. Took a lot of picking though. I didn't have anybody help me pick. Blue crabs, like you got to know how to pick them to get the lump out. Uh, yeah, so those axis deer, I bet they probably taste good too. I love venison. I'm a big fan. Heather and I are pretty big venison fans. It's really good for you. Um, so hunt some axis deer rather than poaching, whitetail out of season. I think you can hunt axis deer there, and and you're not doing anything bad because those axis deer shouldn't even be in Texas, taking the land from the whitetail historically that need the food and the grazing uh, there. So the axis are introduced. They were introduced as a game animal. Yeah. We don't have anything like that here in Virginia. Kind of surprised they haven't spread here by now. I think they were introduced there in Texas in the 70s or something. So they've been there a long time. That's like how I would what I would suggest to. I saw some deer kind close to Gary's house the other day. I was in Newport, yeah. So deer season is over in most states, even in the South. Maybe down in the deepest of the South, they have a little bit left, like a week or two. It's over. It's mostly squirrel season right now, and of course, you guys have those axis deer. You can hunt those year round. They probably taste just as good as a whitetail deer, and they probably produce just the kind of. I love the spots on them. They are beautiful. I was wondering. Somebody thought it was a did I say it was an axis deer? Is that what it is? Whatever it is, they're native to India. They're not even native to the United States. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, they're native to India. That makes sense. If they're in the southern India, they're going to be warm weather. They're smaller deer also. Full grown buck is like pretty small. I love how these things sound like poker chips. You can stack them. Cool. Having fun, guys. Black powder, good. Then you can get out there when everybody's not running dogs and stuff like that. Yeah, they call that quiet hunting. I think in South Carolina they have a quiet hunting season that goes a couple weeks past the dog season, which I'm not a big fan of. No offense. Um, I know there's other guys that are like, oh, it's okay. That's just the way they do stuff. We just make it. I just don't like it. I don't like it. And as a hunter, not I feel like they just take all the deer. They're gone. There's no, they scare them off their path. There's just no, and they use corn to feed them, and they do all this stuff. I don't know why they do all that. It's just kind of a pain in the butt. South Texas has hunting till second week in February. See, the further you go down south, um, if your long form isn't finished tonight, give me a call on Discord. Okay, Daniel, I'll definitely do that. Yeah, I got to get out and get started on that long form. That's probably why I should move on. Shout out to all my folks. Definitely, if you're here, this is Dad's workshop. I got two little pieces of leather in front of me. This knife right here, Wes gave me. I got this in the mail. This is a mail call today. Happy about that. Love y'all. Daniel, love you. Appreciate you, man. Gary, nice to meet you. Glad to have you. Ava, appreciate you. Everybody who was in the house today, shout out to everybody. Big day today in Dad's workshop. Thanks so much. Do the next right thing, folks. Get out there and do something good. Make something from scratch, man. And then show people what you did. Love y'all. Appreciate you. See you later.